Flosstube. This is Stephanie, the Ivy House Crafter, coming to you the very last day of 2018. I don't know if you can hear my son crying through the vents. I can. Don't worry, he's okay. He's just fussy. Let's see. We had a nice Christmas, and I hope that if you celebrate Christmas, you had a nice Christmas too. The kids really enjoyed their gifts. I got some fun stuff. I got some fun stuff for my husband. He likes hot sauce, and so it's kind of a tradition for me to give him hot sauce. And it started really small, like one bottle of specialty hot sauce, and then like a set of 3 or 4 specialty hot sauces. Until last year, I got him this giant box of like 12 or maybe even 20 hot sauces. And so this year I was like, man, how am I going to top that? I totally did. I got him a hot sauce making kit so he can make his own hot sauces. And it comes with like a bunch of recipes and a variety of dried chilies and dried peppers and stuff, including habaneros and serranos, and it even came with a ghost pepper. And Jeff was telling me I didn't even want a ghost pepper until I got one. Now I'm like, holy cow, I've always wanted a ghost pepper. One of those I didn't know I needed it until I had it. Yeah, so he has his very own ghost pepper, and he's really excited about it. And anyway, the kit comes with like bottles and labels and pH test strips and everything that you need to make your own super awesome hot sauce, and he's really excited to give that a go. I also got him a calendar, you know, one of those 365 days of, and it's dad jokes, because he really likes dad jokes. And he was so excited, and he's really, really excited to open it and start absorbing the magnificence of these dad jokes tomorrow, because he decided he was going to wait and follow the rules and, you know, read January 1st on January 1st. So he demonstrated a great deal of self-control in not digging in and like reading through all 365 dad jokes. Anyway, I received some fun stuff. I have mentioned that I really enjoy sloths. They are my spirit animal. A sloth is my Patronus, that whole thing. So I got a sloth coloring book and a set of colored pencils. I haven't done a whole lot in this yet. I started like one and haven't really got very far on it, but yeah. I mean, how can you not love sloths? Look at that. He's just so chill. There's one. Sloths are just so cute. Anyway, so sloth coloring book. And my very own fuzzy, cuddly sloth. Look at it, he's so cute. And he gives the best hugs. He just kind of... So yeah, I have a sloth. So now I have a stuffed version of my favorite animal. And I think my husband got the idea because a while back I got him a stuffed version of his favorite animal, which is the monkey. So this is his best animal in the world, Stuffy. And now I have one of my own. Let's see. My husband also got me a felt succulent kit. I'm a fan of things that I can't kill. I'm not really good at keeping things alive of the plant variety. I do have a pothos that I've kept for several years. Years and years. They are notoriously difficult to kill, thankfully. And I actually do have a couple succulents that they're not thriving, but they're alive. So this is nice because I will have 3 beautiful succulents that can't die. And then I also got this. What on earth is this, you may be asking? This is a pelmeni mold. In Slavic countries, they have, you know, there are a lot of varieties of dumplings. And pelmeni, oh, I should remember, one of the countries in that area does pelmeni. And this is the mold for making them. You put a layer of dough, and then in each depression you put a teaspoon of filling. It might be ground meat with onion and salt and pepper, or it might be potatoes, which is what I'll be doing, and like caramelized onion or something. Some fill them with cheese. You can also do sweet fillings. So a layer of dough, a teaspoon of filling, and then another layer of dough, and then you take a rolling pin and just like flatten it out, and these ridges cut, well, they seal the dumplings and cut them into individual dumplings, and you just like pop them out and boil them. So this will be fun. I'm excited to give that a go. All right, let's talk about cross stitch. Sure, why not? This is a cross stitching channel, so let's talk about some cross stitching. The week of Christmas I didn't do a whole lot of stitching. I did some, but then this past week I have done quite a bit. I've worked a lot on my Biscornu for the Great Biscornu Swap, and I can't show it, but it is almost done and I love it and it's so pretty. I just have to finish up the back of the Biscornu and then I can, you know, assemble it and send it off. And once it's received by the recipient, I can put in some video of it and, you know, show off how sweet it is. So that was a lot of the cross stitching that I've been doing. I also got out briefly While Lilies Flourish. I didn't do a whole lot on this one. Man, I didn't grab something to hold this up. Down here along the bottom, I stitched the dark green portion of this. I still need to bring it all the way out to the edge and then add the light green leaves or pine needles or whatever they are. So not a whole lot of progress on this, but every little bit counts. So yeah, this is the whole piece so far. And the other thing that I spent a good deal of time stitching because I was totally obsessed. I was working on one of the patterns from Preserving Stitches by Janice Shirley, and I started pepper jelly. Let me just open this up so I have a white space to hold this up. And I finished pepper jelly. Isn't that so awesome? I am just thrilled with how this turned out. I love this. The center wasn't marked on the pattern, so I measured and did it myself, but I realized after I had already gotten a great deal of stitching done on it that I marked the center in the wrong place, and so it's a little further to the right than it should be, but there's still, you know, there's still enough space there on the side to do whatever I need to do with it. So yeah, I just finished this last night. I finished back stitching in the instructions. I had to look up what Certo is. The recipe calls for 1 bottle of Certo, and I found out it is a liquid pectin. So, you know, that makes sense. It's a jelly, you put pectin in. So anyway, I also found out that it is a popular quick fix for marijuana users. Was it marijuana? I think it was marijuana. Might have been meth. I'm not well versed in drugs. But apparently it detoxes your urine and you can pass a drug test if you use Certo somehow. So, now you know. But yeah, if I ever buy Certo, it will be to make jelly. Anyway, so yeah, pepper jelly from Preserving Stitches by Janice Shirley. Love it and excited to work on more of these. There's 7 more, and I'm going to stitch all of them. I have the fabric all cut out and everything. This is, I want to say it's 32 count. I've already forgotten. But I think it's 32 count linen. The color is beautiful beige. And I bought like a whole big chunk of it and cut it into 8 pieces so that I have enough for all 8 patterns. Alright, so that's all the stitching that I did. I have made some purchases. I'm not going to show most of it. I've bought some fabric for making project bags. I bought some yarn to knit into another shawl. Let's see. Oh, I bought a pattern. Somebody on Stitch Mania, the Facebook page, showed a finish that they had. It was an FFO. They had framed it and everything, and it was a stained glass Mary, and it was just gorgeous. And she linked to the Etsy shop where she had purchased it, and so I couldn't resist. I headed over to that Etsy shop, and I was thinking about buying that particular pattern, but I saw so many more, and then there was just this one in particular that I totally fell in love with, and you know, I would click on it and just like stare at it and just like, oh, that would be so cool, and then click away and then look at some more and then go back to this one, and I finally was like, you know, I've clicked onto this one like 5 times, and I think that means that I have to have it. So this is Active Service by Purple Stitching. Well, anyway, Active Service, and it is a vintage portrait or picture of a woman, I think from the First World War, doing her duty by knitting socks for the soldiers. I love historical stuff. I'm actually going to talk about that in a little bit. But I fell in love with this. The colors aren't completely true to what it actually will look like because I've mentioned before I have a really stupid printer. And I actually couldn't print out the complete pattern because it ran out of color ink and therefore could not print the black and white pattern. So anyway, but yeah, I love it. It reminds me of anyone who has read the 8-book series, the Anne of Green Gables, and book 8 is Rilla of Ingleside, and it takes place in World War I, and talks about the things that the women who were left behind did to to do their part and to help aid in the war effort, and part of that was knitting socks. And so just yeah, this reminds me of that, and just it's beautiful. I will be starting that very soon. And of course I'm going to link that below. And you can check out all the beautiful patterns from Purple Stitching. What she does is she uses a combination of photo editing software, cross-stitch pattern conversion software, and then just hand correcting. So she basically, takes these pictures and turns them into beautiful cross-stitch patterns, similar to like Haid, but I think they're smaller than Haid. And yeah, she just has some beautiful artwork there to stitch, and I'm really excited to start on that one. That kind of brings me to what have I been into. I don't always do a what I'm all into or best new thing in the world segment, but I have been like seriously into watching YouTube videos about the way people lived and dressed historically. I'm going to link a couple of the channels below that I've been just really into. One of them is Prior Attire, and she shows what getting dressed was like in various time periods, like Victorian, or the 1810s, in medieval times, and and it's really interesting. Like up until the last 100 years or so, it was very similar for a really long time. Women would sleep in their chemise or smock, or whatever, just a very simple cotton undershirt thing, and and that would be their item of clothing closest to their body, and then they would put on their stockings, which was like silk or wool or cotton, and then they'd put on their shoes, and then they'd put on their stays, the corset, and then at some points they would have pockets that were just individual pockets that were tied onto the waist through by a ribbon, and then they would put on their petticoat or petticoats, which had openings in the side to be able to reach the pockets, and then the overskirt and the bodice and the shawl and this and that. And anyway, it's just really fascinating and just a lot of fun to watch the getting dressed process of all these different time periods. And there's another one that shows getting dressed, or that, let's see, that shows a World War I soldier going through putting on his uniform. and all the parts of that. And, you know, talks about how there really was, you know, except for the hat that they would wear, you know, the harder hat, they had no protection. They were extremely vulnerable in their uniforms. There was no, like, you know, nothing to shield their bodies from bullets and shrapnel and all the stuff that they had to be exposed to as soldiers. So anyway, it just really fascinating stuff, and I have been really loving it. And my 13-year-old daughter, who isn't always into the stuff that I'm into, she likes Ninjago and Pokemon. Well, I like Pokemon too, but Minecraft and morbid, grotesque stuff. But she was really into watching these videos with me and thought that they were really neat. So yeah, I will link some of those channels below. Check it out if you like historical stuff and learning about how people used to live. There's also like a documentary, a 3-part documentary I was watching about domestic service in England, and that was really neat. So yeah, just, I like history. I like not the dates and the big important, this person did this and that changed the political this and that. I like how people lived, and that's fascinating to me. So if that's something you're interested in, check out some of these videos and channels and stuff. It's just really cool stuff. One last item of business before I close my video and sign off. I have been meaning to do this for quite a while, and I keep forgetting, but I'm not forgetting now. If you've been watching for a little while, you know that I recently finished Country Cottage Needleworks Welcome Home, and I would like to pass the stash. So if you are interested in stitching the Country Cottage Needleworks Welcome Home pattern, it's cute, it's small, it should be a quick stitch if you don't have like 50 other projects going on. Then comment, I would like to stitch the house, and I will just randomly select somebody before my next video, or you know, like right before my next video, and pass this along to somebody. So I would like to stitch the house if you would like me to pass this on to you. That is all that I have. Happy New Year, everybody. May 2019 be a wonderful year for you, and happy stitching. Bye.